everybody. Hey, it's me, Queen Bee, Evangelist Angie G, and it is just around 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we are kicking off our panel discussion on hair loss awareness. Now, some of you that know me may be thinking, where are her eyebrows? Where are her eyelashes? What's going on? Did she just wake up? Well, yeah, I did. But that is going to be a part of the conversation too. Hair loss is a topic of discussion that affects many people in many different ways. And so I'm kind of excited about the month of August. It seems like it's a preview of September, which is Alopecia Awareness Month. But today we're going to do something just a little bit different. We're going to share just a little bit about our hair loss journey, but we also want to talk about how we've activated what has happened in our lives. We're going to talk about seasoned books, new books, upcoming events, and we're going to kick it off with a shout out to my Baldy DJ friend, DJ Shaheen. He's the one who produced our fabulous theme song. It is titled The Great Awakening. And yes, hair loss can be a great awakening. How you doing, Dr. D? I see you back there looking radiant and lovely. Thank you, honey. And First Lady of the school and pastor of the new book coming out soon. Annie, it's good to see you. I'm going to have you guys up in just a minute. I know you that there are questions that are coming in already, and we want to get to them. But before we do that, I just I have to do something special. Okay, if you don't mind, I just have to do something special because this is Sunday. This is the day that the Lord has made, and we are rejoicing and we're glad in it. But there are still people that are suffering on this glorious day, suffering with something. And so we're going to open up with a slight prayer. I ask that you please close your eyes and bow your heads. You can even do like me and my kids do sometimes. Oh, Lord, I come before you right now just to thank you for this day. We thank you for the gifts and talents and technology that you have bestowed upon us. We thank you for our trials and our tribulations and the slight, light, small afflictions that we may be dealing with, because we know that you are the author and finisher of all. You did not make mistakes. And we know that you have us on this hair loss journey for a reason. Father, I ask that you wrap your loving arms around those that messaged today and said, would you please pray for my daughter? Would you please pray for my son? Would you please pray for our situation? And so, Father, before Pastor Mary Hope begins service at 3:30 today in St. Augustine, Florida, we just want to come before you and thank you, ask you for prayer, and extend our hands to you, Lord. Please walk with us and guide us and take you where you would have us to go. We love you, Lord. I ask this in the name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen, 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 amen. Blessings to Summer Love Townsley. Thank you, darling. Summer Love. Thank you. And Tracy Monique, I see you, and I appreciate you for being here and for joining us. Okay, so this is a roundtable panel discussion. I'm not doing no interviews. We just gonna talk about what thus saith the Lord. So Dr. D, come on in and say hello.
All right. Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be with you today. Thank you so much for the opportunity to join you.
It's so good to see you. And girl, I need your earrings.
Oh, well, you know what? That's a whole nother conversation. That's part of being divinely crowned, right? You got to have your earring game tight and right. So I've got it for you.
God. How are you accepting or celebrating Hair Loss Awareness Month this
Hmm.
August?
Yes, so to be transparent with you, this is the first time in 20 years that I have been what I like to call divinely crowned. Like, I don't say I'm bald, I say
Good
I
for
am
you.
divinely crowned,
Good for
because
you.
I am fearfully and wonderfully made. And so, because of that, I'm just celebrating every day. But for
Yes.
this particular time and such a season as this, I have been going to the pool almost every single day. And the reason why, yes, and let me tell you why. Because for 15 years, I didn't go in the water past my bust.
I know.
So I was always worried about my wig or my weave
Yep.
getting messed up. And
Yep.
so now I go to the pool. My husband and I go almost every day at 6 o'clock, and I have just been enjoying it immensely. And I've been really working on how do I help women. I always like to say it doesn't matter if you're bald, weave, no, bald, wig, or weave, as long as you're pleased, right? And so I just want to encourage and empower women that no matter where you are in the journey, as long as you're pleased with yourself, it doesn't matter what the rest of the world has to say.
Girl, I appreciate that. I thought I was the only one that was still in the shower trying not to get my head wet. And then oh, that's right. I ain't got to.
Don't have to worry about it at all.
That's a different story. That's a different story.
Mm-mm.
Annie, we want you to come in now, honey. You ready for us? Looking all lovely. Hi, honey.
Hey, hello, ladies. Good afternoon. How are you?
Really, really good. Really good to see you. Really good to see you. Okay, you're in Maryland, correct?
Correct.
And y'all still got 90-degree days, or has it?
It's rainy, it's sunny. I'm surprised it's not snowing out here. Maryland is like all of the different regions of the United States in one state. It could
Mm.
snow in one day, it could be raining, and with a monsoon out here a couple of days ago. Yes, yesterday it was beautiful. Friday, it was pouring down like torrents and buckets of rain. So yeah,
Mm-mm.
during this weather. Yes.
Good. Good, good, good. Okay, so what's going on with you in August, Hair Loss Awareness Month?
Oh,
Anything different? You know,
well,
it's be a little different than I am.
as you both know, you both on the anthology From Baldness to Boldness, and I'm just loving the crowns, the divinely crowns up here. And so for International Alopecia, I'm so glad that I am connected to so many networks because I literally forgot. And it was only because of some other alopecia sisters that put it out there. I was like, oh, I need to, put something out there. But we just walk in our divinely crowned and
We
ball
do.
bold self every day.
We do.
So, but I'm excited about this project. We have a couple of meetings coming up, and we're gonna get ready to read these chapters. I'm just so excited and so blessed. And so again, Angie, thank you for allowing me to be on your platform and to get others, and I'm like my Sora Zakira, is that we are here to empower others. It's all about the empowerment. Yes.
We have to. We have to. We have to. I have to give a very special shout out to my dear, darling friend, Donna Gray Banks. She is in Daytona Beach, Florida, the founder of the largest book festival in Florida, the Fresh Book Festival. So when we're finished with our book, we need to be in Daytona Beach in February. I was just with Donna yesterday, and it just feels so right that in February we're all in Daytona Beach, gathering, connecting, sharing our books and what we've learned. And in September, we all gather in Daytona Beach for the Bold, Beautiful, and Bald Beauty Bazaar. So that's exciting. That's exciting. Okay, so we have a couple of questions that I'm just throwing out there to you guys. And the very first one talks about acceptance. How did you get around to accepting the fact that this up here needed to change? How did you get to that conclusion, Doc?
Well, I'm smiling because Annie is part of my how did I get to my conclusion. For me, like I told you a few moments ago, for years I lived in this shell and I didn't want to deal with it. It's like anything that's traumatic or even going through basically grief and loss. I'm a professional social worker and a licensed minister, and I realized that I was experiencing a slow, painful death every time I would go to the hairstylist and try to cover it up a little bit more or camouflage it or try a different piece. And I just said, I'm tired. And you go through those stages. First, the denial. And so I was covering it up, denying it, denying that it was getting worse. I tried some doctors, some places I went to too late, and I wish I would have made in what I consider now a true investment in myself. Like I really wish that I would have felt worthy of making that investment of going to the trichologist and trying some different strategies before it got too bad and too late. And so I had to work through that grief and loss, so you go through the denial, you go through, the hurt and the pain and the anger. Like I would be mad at God. I'll be like, why did you let this happen to me? Why am I experiencing this? And then maybe about 3 months ago, I started saying, God, I know you want more for me. I know you've got a beautiful plan for me.
Yes.
And I know that you didn't let me get to this point in my life and just abandon me in this space. I have an amazing husband, beautiful friends. I was like, no. And I went someplace. I'm trying to remember where I was, but I was so worried that my wig was going to slip off.
Lord Jesus.
That I said, you know what? I'm not going to do this anymore. And I reached out to the beautiful women of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. And I said to them, sisters, who else in this group has had alopecia and had hair loss? And so how I got to acceptance was through community, through sisterhood, and through fellowship. Because one of the things that the enemy does is he likes to keep us isolated, and he comes to steal and destroy. And he was destroying the way I was thinking and feeling about myself. My husband, he didn't care. He didn't care. No, he's happy. He's like, we go to the pool. Right? And so how I got to acceptance, and I'll be honest, is I got to acceptance through love and through care and support and encouragement from other women. I don't know if Dr. Elisa is going to join you here, but between Dr. Elisa and Annie, they really encouraged me. And then my hairstylist, she encouraged me. And one day, and this is what I'm going to write about in your anthology. It's called Hair Today, Gone Tomorrow is my chapter. What I'm calling my chapter is because I had hair one day. I went to the stylist and I came back and it was gone.
Yep.
My husband said, I was like, hey, this is it. Hello. So that's how I got to acceptance, literally by going through the grief and loss process and not going through it alone, going through it with others, with support, and then getting to the point of celebration.
Good. Hey, Dr. Renee, I see you're joining us and we'll be bringing you on in just a minute. Got a question for Annie. Now, Annie, I know you're all about education. You're teaching them children in the school. And a lot of the things that we talk about with children is self-acceptance and self-esteem. And again, we don't need to rehash how we lost our hair or what we could have, should have, would have done. But how do you get people to accept you when you walk in the room looking fabulous?
Well, first of all, you know what? I think it's the anointing. I think that like Zakira said, that there's a calling. There's a calling, and God, he gave us this for a reason. Everything he's done is good and very good, and everything he does is for a reason. Yeah. And for me, it was the power of testimony. I gravitate towards words. Good. And so acceptance for me was a person, actually one of the co-authors on the anthology, Kimberly Carey, was like, you need to accept yourself. Mm-hmm. So once I accepted it myself, because everybody else seemed to be fine with it, I was the one that had the biggest issue with it because those were my own hangups. But once I accepted it myself, and I realized, like the Carey, that God does not make mistakes. Mm-mm. Make a mistake. And then communication. When I walk in a room, I'm a communicator. I'm a speak. I speak. I'll speak to grass. I talk to grass. I'll talk to anyone. I'll strike up a conversation with anyone. And I'm all about knowledge. I don't hoard knowledge. I believe in sharing it. I believe in giving it to other people. So when people have questions, I'm very honest and open with sharing my story. And I also love the fact that being bald has allowed me and us and all of us that's in this community to redefine what beauty is. Because for so long there's this misnomer, especially in in the Western culture, there's this fascination with hair, and it's got to be straight, it's long. We as African Americans, we always were told something about our hair. It's too kinky, it's too this, it's too that. So we're doing weaves and this and other for acceptance. But being bald has allowed for there to be a redefinition of beauty and what beauty looks like, and then to have the confidence, because every one of us to walk in confidence with who we are and be okay with it, we shift the atmosphere. Definitely. We are atmosphere shifters. And so we walk in confidence, bold, to the pool, to the boardroom, dealing with clients, however it is. What we bring to the room is that energy, and people gravitate. They gravitate to us, and so it's I think it's just the calling that's on our life that allows us, and so that's what allowed me to start accepting myself, because I knew that God did this for a reason. I just had to accept it myself. I accepted it. I was okay.
Amen. That is wonderful. That is wonderful. Okay, so we're just going to talk briefly about some of these questions that are coming in. And if you have a question that you don't want to put on the screen, you can text it to us. The number is going to be scrolling at the bottom of the screen. And I don't have you saved in my phone, so I don't know who you are. So your question will be anonymous. So don't worry about that. The first thing is, someone said, why is it such a big deal? It's just hair. And I'm going to start off with saying, we already have Alopecia Awareness Month in September. Now we got Hair Loss Awareness Month in August. It must be a big deal if we got two months dedicated to it. And I know this month is also, I believe, Psoriasis Awareness Month. And there are some other months that we do not want to take away from them. But why is hair loss a big deal, Dr. D? Why should anybody care? It's just hair.
So I think it goes back to what Annie was saying, right? How we are brought up in this culture of your hair is your crown and glory. Even think back to biblical days and how even in the word, hair was regarded and respected as a woman's crown and glory. Samson lost his strength in his hair. I mean, think about all the messages that we receive throughout our lives. I am in a family where we have 3 generations of hairstylists. My grandmother, my mother, and then I have my cousins are stylists. And so we get that ingrained in us. So all we know is that your hair is a big deal. But it's not what is on the outside. And we say that all the time, but you really learn when your hair is leaving you and you're going through that journey, that it takes so much strength and courage to show up divinely crowned. So it just does, like, I can't even begin to articulate the level of like confidence and grace that has come upon me. So why is it a big deal? I think that when you are going through it, it's the shock, it's the trauma, it's the pain, it's all the external. But when you get there, it's the internal that really matters. It's what you feel on the inside. It's what you think about yourself, what you feel, what you see in the mirror. I laugh because people think, oh, well, you don't have any hair, you're bald, you don't have bad hair days. Yes, you do. You don't feel like shaving it every day. You don't feel like curling your hair every day or putting it in a ponytail every day. I don't feel like shaving my hair every day.
There you go.
So
there you go.
What's the big deal? The big deal is because you're a big deal. But it's all about perspective. If you're looking at it from an external space, from what other people think and what other people feel, then yeah, it might be a big deal to them. But the biggest deal is what's inside of you and what
Amen.
comes
Amen.
through that time.
That is wonderful. Dr. Renee, we about to bring you on because you're looking adorable. So I hope you's ready. Look at her. Look at her. Just adorable. Look at that smile. How you doing, girl?
Thank you. I will take it. I'm sitting on my mother's couch because I've been on vacation, so I will take that. I will.
Oh, thank
How are
you.
y'all, ladies?
We're good.
Good.
We're better than good. I don't know about Annie. She getting ready for school to start. She a brand new principal, so she might be a little might be a little bit out there. Dr. Renee, tell us where do you live? Where are you vacationing now?
Well, I'm from South Carolina, but I currently reside in Virginia. So I'm kind of doing because I turned 40 this month, and that's a big deal. Oh my gosh, that's a big deal. So I'm doing pre-birthday celebrations. So it was celebrations with my girlfriends from elementary school and middle school and with my family. And now it's just spending time with my parents. So time is important. We got to celebrate. So that's why I'm here. So, and with my grandma. So yeah.
Congratulations. Okay, so this is the panel discussion. We're not really interviewing, we just kind of conversing. And we have a question. Somebody wants to know what type of alopecia we all have. So you want to tell us, Dr. Renee?
Well, for me, I have alopecia totalis now, but I started off with alopecia areata when I was 8 years old. So are they wanting for us each to individually talk about our alopecia?
Yeah, go ahead. What was it having alopecia as an 8-year-old?
Oh, it was tough. It was really tough. And I think it was Dr. D that just even talked about hair being your crown. So I'm from South Carolina. That's the way that I was raised. So my grandma, even just speaking of that, like my hair was literally down to the bottom part of like my back. So my grandma, of course, used to do the straightening, like on Easter Sunday, we blowing the comb and doing this. She found a patch in my hair. We didn't know what it was at all. So of course we went to different doctors, prayed and did all the things, went to I think 4 or 5 different dermatologists, finally got diagnosed at Emory, and it was alopecia areata at the time. I started getting treatments immediately. So you asked me, how was it? It was tough. I lost a part of my identity. Really didn't know what was going on. I really didn't understand it because my parents, they did the best they could, but we didn't talk about it. We didn't talk about how I was feeling. We didn't talk about what was happening to me, what was going on. Going through middle school and high school, I was always with a group of cousins and family, so I never really got bullied at all. It was just more or less, I just always felt different, always comparing myself, always feeling like I'm not good enough, feeling like I had to get love and acceptance from people if I felt noticed. So I never really gained identity, if that makes sense. It was always wanting for somebody to love me and leave me, not to look differently. Right. So the totalis changed to, the alopecia areata eventually ended up changing to totalis around the time that I.
Right. Oh, I think we lost you, Dr. Renee. I think we're frozen just a little bit. But that's okay. I'm gonna get things going. Somebody's texting and saying, "What's the difference between alopecia areata and totalis?" And then somebody else said something about alopecia citra. I can't even pronounce. Annie, can you maybe touch on that?
Okay. Well, the alopecia centrifugal alopecia. That's the type that I have, and basically it's like a permanent. It's permanent. And so my hair actually grew, and it grows when it grows. And I say it jokingly because now I can, like Bozo the Clown. That's what I look like. If my hair was to grow, it would grow all around, but it didn't grow right here.
Yeah.
And so I actually went to a lot of different people, went to a dermatologist, and then when I was in the UAE, I actually went to someone to see, and she was basically like, your scar tissue, she's like, your hair follicles are completely damaged.
Yeah.
And she was like, they are not going to go back. But if I was to, like, I do, like I shave, but right here it's just smooth. And you know, it can come from a lot of different factors, stress, hormones. It can come up from a lot of different reasons. It is an autoimmune disease, and so that's the type I have. I have, you call it CCCF, but that's the type that I have. So I'm okay.
So I'm going to address a question that my niece asked me. She is now 11, so I think she might have been 3 or 4. At that age where you hear what other grown folks say, so you kind of repeat it, thinking, okay, and then you realize this child ain't asking me this. Somebody else did, but she did ask me, Auntie, why are you shaving? Why don't you just let your hair grow? And I'm like, well, because my hair doesn't grow like yours. My hair hurts my head when it grows. My hair, and I think at the time I had said to her, I'm getting ready to go shave, and that's when the question came up. So I had just enough hair growth and just enough, ingrown and some hair bumps or whatever they talk about to be able to show her. I said, you see this thing right here on my head? She's like, yeah, it looks like a bump. I said, it looks like you could bust it. And I said, well, I don't want you to do that, but it hurts. And shaving stops the hurt because my body doesn't like hair. So it attacks hair. And that's what the attack looks like. And so I had my shave cream on. We spent a good time eating ice cream and watching it. And she said, Auntie, I can see hair laying down, or I could see that bump. It was almost like a science experiment to her. And by the time I went to go take it off, she could tell that it was smoother and it wasn't hurting. And I think that's eye-opening for some people that always want to know what's the big deal. It's just hair. You can buy some. Why? You gonna buy it for me? You can grow some. No, it hurts too much. And it's just one of those. It's one of those rough things. We are just about 30 minutes in, ladies. I'm gonna put you backstage for just a minute. Dr. Renee, I'm glad you're back. I appreciate it. Some of you are like, why is Angie B on a Sunday? She's usually on Monday through Fridays from 6 to 8 a.m. And then she's back on Wednesdays. And well, gotta spread the love some kind of way. Hey, Amy Hall, I appreciate it. I'm glad that you're here, and you don't have to embrace anything 100% as long as you okay with you. But in the meantime, I want to see you in Daytona Beach on September 16th. Here's a little bit more information about it.
Save the date, September 14th through 17th, 2023, for the 7th annual Bold, Beautiful, and Bald Weekend Retreat for Alopecia Awareness. Our travel partner this year is Stephanie Fowler. Call her for your arrangements at 470-331-1788. The 7th annual Bold, Beautiful, and Bald Weekend Retreat for Alopecia Awareness. Our theme this year is completion, keeping our faith over the struggle. Log on to boldbeautifulandbald.com for more information. Bold, beautiful, and bald. You are cordially invited to join us for Sunday afternoon service. It's all about Jesus and Me Incorporated, the teaching ministry. Join us every second and fourth Sunday at 3:30 p.m. with Pastor Mary Hope and Minister Deacon Jerome Hope. Our outreach ministries include the Sick and Shut-In for our members, a virtual youth writing ministry, virtual Bible study, assisted living facility services, and a brand new shoe ministry, Walking in a New Life. Our teachings come from testimonies to show how the Word of God is effective in our lives, making the Bible come to life in our daily walk with Christ. It's all about Jesus and me, the teaching ministry. Join us on the second and fourth Sunday of the month at 3:30 p.m. at 1855 Prunier Road in St. Augustine, Florida. You are cordially invited.
I just had to slide that in there because Pastor Mary Hope says she ain't waiting till the second Sunday of this month. She is having service in St. Augustine, Florida today at 3:30. So if you are in the area, 1855 Prunier Road is waiting for you. And I need to stop because Pastor Mary always want to feed somebody. And I'm thinking about fried fish that she fed us after the last women's conference. Don't go over there expecting no food and talking about NGB told you. But yeah, she be trying to take care of us. All right, this is a panel discussion in observation of the month of August, which is Hair Loss Awareness Month. It's also Psoriasis Awareness Month, and one of the comments that came in to us came through text was, doesn't psoriasis cause alopecia? Well, we not medical professors. Medical professionals. I know we got Dr. D in the background. We got Dr. Renee in the background. Even if they are medical professionals, I don't want them to speak on that because you need to be treated by your own doctor if that's what's going on. However, my mother, we talked about how Big Mama and Grandmama and them used to press our hair on Easter Sunday. My mother used to get that rat comb, that plastic comb, and a jar of grease because my head was always burning, itching, shedding. We didn't call it shedding then. We just called it junk in the scalp, and it could have been a form of psoriasis. It could have just been early signs of alopecia where my scalp was rejecting my hair. All I know is when alopecia areata hit me in my early 20s, I did what everybody else did. I went to the hairdresser. Actually, the hairdresser spotted the spot first and then was like, listen, girl, I got something new. It's called a glue-in weave. I'm just going to, this was in the 90s. So, it's going to put it right there. And it looked great until, the first couple ones she was just testing. And then the next one, she wanted to get paid for it. But I go back to say, alopecia areata hit me in my early 20s. By the time I was 30, my mom looked at me and was like, oh, okay, you got that thing called alopecia. And I'm like, what? How you know? Because I got it too. And your grandmother, my mother, had it too. So the family legend was when my grandmother used to say when my mother was born, she stole all of my grandmother's hair. Grandmother used to say she had long, thick, pretty hair until my mother was born and it started to come out. And so that, I hope that answers one of the other questions that came out. What's the difference between having alopecia as a child or psoriasis taking your hair out? Or isn't alopecia older in life just a form of aging? So these are some of the things we want to discuss. Dr. Renee, I'm hoping I could bring you back in right quick. And you can share some of the comment, y'all. This is Atlas, the wonder dog. He's down here. He wants to be seen. You might see his tail over there. He just wants to say hello. So if you see me over here fighting a little bit, you just excuse me. But Dr. Renee, welcome back to the show. Annie, welcome back. Dr. D, welcome back. Has anybody noticed anything based upon that last topic, alopecia as a child or psoriasis? Anything you want to share on that? Dr. Renee, let you go first. Oh, Doc, I can't hear you. Let me see if you got your microphone on.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, that's perfect. Perfect.
Well, as far as alopecia as a child, I guess I would say it's hard, it's tough. Um, I never really talked about it. I think that a lot of things from my adulthood I carried over from my childhood because I had a lot of the mental and emotional comorbids that came along with alopecia, and I didn't start dealing with it until my adulthood. So when you don't deal with it in your childhood, like stuff that can happen outside of alopecia, it will show up in your adulthood. So it took a while for me to kind of really recognize how that emotion impacted every area of my life. But I got with a good counselor, good community, and I'm in a much better place. But alopecia as a child also pushed me. It pushed me to be different. It pushed me to want to find a cure for alopecia. It pushed me to see things differently, to see my peers differently. So, we're all flawed individuals, and it allowed me to see them very, very have more compassion, I guess that I can say. It pushed me to become the first doctor in my family, the first one to even have a bachelor's degree. So there's a lot of ups and downs with alopecia, but I look at it as being a gift also as a child. So I guess it depends on your perspective.
That is wonderful. Annie, tell me this. How do you, because I know a lot of times people come up to me and say something, oh, I wish I could, or oh, you got the head for it, or I'm just not there. What do you say?
Everybody's I say everyone's journey is different. When I was a child, I had hair, but my hair was really thin. So to me, I think now in retrospect, I think alopecia might even run on my side of my family, but didn't know what it was at the time but my hair has always been very thin. So when I was in the military, I kept it cut really, really short. And it kind of like pushed me to be the first girl in my family to join the military. So it kind of, but I didn't know what it was, and I couldn't define it or put a name on it. But it did make me feel a little bit different, and I used to get teased a lot because my hair was short. And so, that's the name of my chapter, Bald Head Self, because I got teased a whole lot about, you with your bald head self. And when children, and the cruelty of it, and for a long time, I think that's why for me, I gravitated towards weaves. When weaves came out, I was all on that, getting weaves and hair extensions, because that stigma of bald head self from a young girl stuck with me. And so the very thing, like how Joseph told his brothers, the very thing you meant for evil, God turned it around for good. And so that is the name of the title of my chapter, Bald Head Self, because I am bald, and I am bald headed, and it's myself. And so I've owned that. So, I took that and turned it around. But so did a lot of, I had a lot of self-esteem issues, because as a result of that, because my hair did not grow long. If it grew, it was still very thin. And so I always had this uncomfortableness about my hair. And so when I was able to get weaves and extensions to make it long, and I would wear the braids and all of that, but at the same time, I had, even though I was getting braids, it was causing that tension in my scalp. It caused that tension in my scalp. So I was doing more harm than good.
And that's what the text just came in and said. The braids puts more stress on your scalp and can make things worse. And back in the 90s, that glue-in stuff, I don't know if it's any different now, but I tell you, this is National Hair Loss Awareness Month. It's the month of August, and it's on the eve of Alopecia Awareness Month. But yesterday we had a very special day. Dr. D, do you know what yesterday was?
That was International Hair Loss Day, right? Or International Alopecia Awareness Day, right? Yes.
International.
Yes.
International. So for all of you that are thinking we're just going through issues over here in the U.S.
Oh no.
Mm-mm.
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 Dr. D is definite about that.
No, but you know what? It's sort of like, you know how you might say to yourself, I'm thinking about buying a red car. And then everywhere you go, you see red cars after that, after you make that decision. Well, that's how I feel about what I see now in our community, right? Ever since I became divinely crowned, I see beautiful women with crowns all over the place, all over the world, everywhere I go. So it's an amazing space. And I wanted to say to Dr. Renee, you know, God gives his bravest soldiers the hardest battles. So just think what was being done and what you grew up through, look at what it made you. It's like, oh my gosh, I had to, when you said it made you become a doctor to find a cure, I had a little girl ask me, what happened to your hair? And that's exactly what she said, like exactly like that. It's one of my little Sunday school kids. She said, what happened to your hair? And I stood there for a second. And this other lady said, that's none of your business. I said, stop. But it is. Because when I tell her what's wrong, she may have an idea that could save and help other women in the future. I said, so no. I said, I'm going to tell her. So I got down on her level. Mm-hmm. And I took it as an opportunity to educate her. I let her touch my head and everything. And she was like, oh, okay.
That was all she needed.
She's like, I get it. I understand. And now she understands. And who knows? She could be the next Dr. Renee Thompson. How about that? Who knows?
That was another question that came in, Dr. Renee. Somebody wants to know, you are a doctor of what? And they just got 3 question marks. So
I'm a doctor. So I'm a doctor of family medicine. I'm also board certified in obesity and lifestyle medicine. So to finish a little bit of my story, I thought that the only way that I could help people with alopecia was to become a dermatologist. So that was my focus initially in medical school. So during my 3rd and 4th year, I was at different universities in some of the top dermatologist labs. And I'm a person about integrity, a person about truth. And I've always also worked with the National Alopecia Areata Foundation. So it's like I was doing everything, making the right steps, meeting the right people, making the right connections, but I was never happy. And I was never really truly satisfied because it was all about the medicine. How can we get this hair to grow back? What is the pathophysiology of this? What is the nitty gritty? But nobody was ever really addressing the emotional side of alopecia, the psychosocial aspect of it. How are you dealing with this mentally? Are you talking about them? Are you letting them know what depression is, what anxiety is? Are you talking to them about the other comorbids that kind of come along with it? Like psoriasis, I know that you were talking about it. So many heart disease, diabetes, all of that is coming along with it. And I'm from South Carolina, so I also see my family dying early from death. And so I prayed about it. God led me towards family medicine because what better way to still take care of families from all age ranges, from youth up until death. And I'm still addressing skin issues with that. I'm still attacking the psychosocial comorbid stuff. I'm able to prescribe, able to treat. So that's what I'm doing. And I've shaped my career now to do specifically lifestyle and obesity medicine. And will specifically only work with individuals with chronic skin conditions, working on their lifestyle and talking about their quality of life and psychosocial issues that come along, not just with alopecia and their skin conditions, but just life period. So
did you say diabetes and heart issues are part of the, can you run through that again?
So I like to say, I don't want to do the medical part with a lot of stuff.
I got you.
Yeah. So if, alopecia is autoimmune. A lot of autoimmune conditions are connected to a lot of other autoimmune conditions too at the same time. Anybody that has psoriasis, of course, it is also autoimmune, but it attacks every organ system that you have.
Wonderful.
So usually further along, you'll have some individuals with a lot of endocrine issues and heart issues that'll kind of present themselves later on in life, and especially depression and anxiety comes along with it. And so it's really just kind of a cycle. So that's why you see a lot of attention that is geared towards any individual that has psoriasis, and a lot of them are really on a lot of biologics, which weakens your immune system and makes you more prone to a lot of things. So I can talk all day about that, but yeah, I just want to steer away from talking about the medical on your platform. So.
No, I'm glad that you brought it up, because we had somebody who wanted to know, are there other health problems when you have alopecia? And so your foundation is that we need to be treating the whole person. And
I like the holistic approach. Yes.
Yeah. That's
yes.
Good. That's good.
The holistic approach, because a lot of people, like I said, it's not just us living. We live with this every day, right? So we're here on your platform because we've loved ourselves. We accepted ourselves. We went through our journey, right? But a lot of people that are out there, they're seeing you, they're on your platform because they want motivation, right? They get motivated right here, right now. We're planting seeds in them, but it takes courage to take that seed, what you're planting right now, and for them to truly live that out. And in order for them to live that out, they also got to have the support in the community. And a lot of times what we're seeing is that a lot of people with alopecia, and I mean, it's scientifically proven that we have have at an increased rate of having a lot of psychological comorbidities, depression, anxiety, OCD, like a lot of other things. And sometimes there's a stigma and we don't talk about it. And when you have a lot of that, that also puts you prone to having, how can I put this, poor coping mechanisms. So I'm also seeing a lot of obesity when people are having like their 40s and their 50s. And if you can imagine, you're going to get a lot of obesity related complications because you need to have the right mind frame to be able to kind of take care of things when you were younger. So now that you're getting into your 40s and 50s, I'm starting to see a lot of these patients come in with the diabetes, with the heart disease, and et cetera. And I'm not saying that everything stemmed from you having alopecia, but it definitely probably contributed to some of the things that you did with your coping and your daily habits in your younger age.
Ooh, Lord.
That was a mouthful. I know.
But Sandy Green says she totally agrees. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for that. Listen, everybody, if you're watching the replay, please put #replay and your city, state, or country that you're from. We understood that yesterday was International Alopecia Awareness Day, and so we'd like to know if you're affected, and if you're in another city, state, or country. We'd really like to know that. I want to give special shout out to the volunteers of our upcoming alopecia awareness event, those that are traveling to Daytona Beach to help enlarge the territory of this platform. These are just some of the pictures from last September. And I was recently told that not only was our 2022 Beauty Bazaar the recipient of the mayor's proclamation from the city of Daytona Beach, but we are officially known as the largest all bald fashion showcase in the state. And these are volunteers. These are regular, everyday folk that just kind of put some extra sunscreen up on the top. They're not professional models. They come, we ask for volunteers to get us all made up, and we have an entire weekend retreat. And today's broadcast is sponsored by the Bold, Beautiful, and Bald Weekend Retreat. It starts on September 14th. That's a Thursday night. We gather together just to be together, to be more than just one bald person in the room. We've got authors that come and talk about their stories. One year we had a woman that came and she walked towards us, because we gather together in the evening, and she walked towards us, and we could kind of see she was walking with a couple of other people, but we couldn't quite make it out. once she got closest to us, she was a beautiful bald woman who came with her son and daughter and was just in tears. It was the first time she was ever out in public without her wig, and her children came with her to support her. And that's the importance of Thursday night, just to be able to get together and woo-saw. There's really no agenda. It's kind of like a support group, and we enjoy our company. That's Thursday. Then Friday, we have a spectacle day. The spectacle, if you can see in the top corner, ladies are all in white. That's our all white affair. We started out maybe with 6 or 7 couples and a few ladies, and we would do a dinner boat cruise down the Halifax River in Daytona Beach, Florida. This year, on Friday, September 15th, we'll be dressing in white and walking from the host hotel, which is right across the street from where they have the Daytona 500. So we're going to be really spectacles. We're going to walk down the street and enjoy some Italian ice. And the strip that we're going down is fabulous. There are shops and restaurants and video arcade areas. And so I know people are going to be like, what is going on? And then Saturday, we have the beauty bazaar. And then Sunday, we have fellowship on the beach. So if you would like to volunteer to come join us and be a part of our fashion showcase, I would love to have you. I'd love to welcome you. I'd love for you to be there. I really, really would. Okay, we're going to try to get to some of these questions right quick. Sandy Green says she's in Birmingham, Alabama. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you. Summer Love said she is pending spine surgery, so she's not going to be able to attend. And yes, Summer Love, we're going to keep you in prayer. I want you to be encouraged. I have a dear friend who is 72 and just went through spine surgery. And so now we talk about her exercises to get her out of the back brace. But, all in due time, we'll get you one way or another. Okay, so the next question that came in was kind of a twofold. I had to go back and forth and say, do you mean this and do you mean that? The question originally said, I used to thread my eyebrows. Do you think that's why they're coming out? And I'm like, I messaged back. I said, do you have any other hair loss? Yeah, my hairline is receding, but I can cover that up. Eyebrows. Who wants to talk about eyebrows? Oh my goodness.
I can do it if nobody else can, because I love my eyebrows. And I noticed when I was really at the height of my hair loss, when it was, my stylist used to say it had burned out, meaning that it had stopped falling out in this area. It had gotten to that space where she felt like, oh, it's probably finished burning out up top. And then I noticed that my eyebrows started to thin. So what I started doing was not getting them done as often. And you may be getting them done frequently, and that could be, part of what's influencing it. But they have so many things that you can do now. You can, I'm afraid of needles, so I don't get the tattoo ones, but you can get it tattooed on. Yeah. You can get, microblading. I mean, you can do things, but like Dr. Renee was saying, I would say go talk to your dermatologist or someone before you started poking and prodding on yourself. But you can, they even have like these little brushes that you can paint them on, and it looks like strokes.
Yeah.
Sure. I love a good brow.
That's for sure. Annie, take you, turn your microphone on. Tell us about your eyebrows.
Well, for me being bald, it just allowed me to enhance the other features. So I wear the lashes, I wear the brows. I've had the micro shading. I had that done. I mean, hair is an accessory, not a necessity. And so without it, it just allowed me to enhance the other features, the bigger, bolder earrings, and it just allowed me to just, I don't know. I mean, but I agree with, Dr. D, there are so many different things that we have out here now, but you can get the little stroke pencils to braid them in, but I still would go and seek somebody medical. Dr. Renee, I'm going to kick that ball right to you to give the medical answer.
Well, I'll give the personal answer. I think that, I guess in my generation with things, we did the waxing kind of in high school and in college. Like, that was the thing. That was a part of your beauty, is having the right, like your eyebrows done. And we didn't really do lashes much, but just making sure you had the mascara and some features. But I can say that right now I did the threading also, since that became more popular. But every time that you're doing the threading, especially to the shaft and the root, you're making it very thin and you're causing trauma that's there. So when you keep repeating that like every week or every 2 weeks, you're essentially messing up that root. And especially if you're somebody that have alopecia. So now you're causing mechanical inflammation and stuff that's there, along with the autoimmune part. So you're going to continue to have complications every time you're doing it. So I probably would not recommend it like as much. But right now I also did the, is it microblading or micro shading, whatever it is, to this, because I don't wear makeup, know how to do makeup, because I lost, because of alopecia, I did lose my eyebrows. And so I gifted myself with this. And this is something that makes me feel comfortable, makes me feel beautiful when I get up. So everybody's journey is different, especially with alopecia. So I won't pretend, whoever asked that question, that it was easy for me. Without it, I felt naked, and honestly, I felt like an alien, and I felt unbeautiful. So whatever works for you, get on YouTube, educate yourself. Don't go spending a bunch of money with some things. Talk to your doctor if you need to, and just find out what works for you. But just like these ladies, eyelashes and everything can work for them. These little things on my eyes, and I just go every day and put on lip gloss, and this is what works for me. So.
That's so wonderful. I appreciate it. Go ahead.
So I'm gonna go back to Kimberly Carey, who's one of the authors. She actually has alopecia. She shared her journey with me, but she also is a makeup artist. And so during COVID, when I was in the UAE, she was trying to go to do it virtually, to do makeup classes first. So she said, can you be like my guinea pig? And I was like, yeah, sure. And so Kimberly, I would meet with her every day, once a week. And she actually taught me like how the proper brushes to use, how to maintain the brushes before we even got into, by the time I finished with this class, because she was basically teaching me, but seeing like what worked and what didn't. I learned how to do a whole beat face. So if I want to beat my whole entire face, I can. And it was because we have alopecian sisters and brothers that are out there that are makeup artists, that can do makeup, that can do fashion, that can do everything, because we got alopecia. It's just a hair issue, but we have people that are in every spectrum of the career field. There are alopecians that are actually makeup artists. And so I, reach out, and this is a great platform, your Bazaar, for like resources and things like that. It's a great platform. And just Dr. D, you'd be surprised. Children ask the questions, and they ask it. They not being, because they've been led to believe that you have hair. But being an educator and administrator, I've sat down and students have touched my hair and asked me questions because they're curious. They're not being nasty. They just want to know, like, how come, I had a little boy say, you look like a little malted milk ball. Why his teacher, well, at the time I was a teacher, why does the teacher have a malted milk ball? And Russ asked me, he's like, don't be upset, Miss Annie. And I said, because I'm chocolate and sweet. That's why I love it. So, but educate. The biggest thing about alopecia is educate, because people are curious. They want to know. And like Dr. D said, hold up. She addressed that right away. Hold up. This little girl wants to know. So I'm going to get down on her level and I'm going to explain her, because when we start educating, then they'll educate somebody else and say, oh, that's what they have. They have alopecia.
Right. Okay. So we're going to get back on track. I'm hoping I'm answering all the questions that are coming in, but some of the other comments that we received as we started promoting today was hair loss. Is every hair loss considered a form of alopecia, or what's the difference between hair loss and alopecia? Anybody want to speak to that?
Well, from the definition, alopecia is hair loss.
Mm-hmm.
But there's different forms of alopecia. There's different forms of hair loss, just depending on what type it is that you're diagnosed with. And they're going to have different pathophysiologies of disease and different treatments for that.
Okay.
I'm not really sure if the question wanted to go deeper, but that's really by definition what it is.
No, that is what I understood it to be, that there are so many forms of alopecia. Some just, the general definition is any form of hair loss where you lose your hair and it doesn't come back the way it was originally could be a form of alopecia. So I get it. I do. I can't believe it's been an hour, and I didn't want to keep you ladies all day, but I do have about 2 more topics to discuss. But first, I got to introduce you to these projects. Of course, there's from Dr. D. I know she'll be grateful for that. When she comes back, I want to hear all about Divinely Crowned. Oh my goodness, I'm ready for that. And Sandy Green will not be in Daytona Beach on September 16th because she's having her second annual alopecia walk. And I remember when we first started doing our alopecia events, it just seemed like it was 1 or 2. Now we're running out of weekends to do it. We're kind of bumping heads a little bit. I know I'll be in Houston the first weekend, and then Sandy Green has got this, and then something else is coming up the end of the month. But we want to let you know what's going on. Also wanted to share this from Sandy. Thank you, Sandy. Tracy Etheridge was one of our models in the showcase in Daytona Beach a few years ago. So, Sandy, I know you're going to have a good time with Tracy being on the stage. Okay. And then I wanted to put this up. Yes, we do have Psoriasis Awareness Month, according to the AAD, American Academy of Dermatology. And yes, August is Hair Loss Awareness Month, hair loss awareness. So I'll put you ladies backstage for just a little bit. Gotta do some shameless plugs. During the pandemic, I was blessed to co-author a book with nearly 50 people. We all shared a topic that had to do with the pandemic. What happened when the churches closed? What happened when the babies had to go to school on Zoom? What happened when us alopecians couldn't get into the beauty salon? It's all sorts of topics. And so today we have copies of our Alopecia Awareness Edition that came from Confinement Chronicles. Now, the entire Confinement Chronicles book is about 260 pages. It almost looked like a Bible. But what we did was we're breaking down different chapters within the whole book to give you something that you can slide in your purse, slip over to somebody else, and we want them to know that they're not alone. So if you would like to secure a copy of this book, we will autograph it for you, put it in the mail, and proceeds today, if you purchase today, proceeds will go to the Bold, Beautiful, and Bald Beauty Bazaar to help sponsor some of the volunteers that are coming in, to help sponsor some of those volunteers. So our information is down at the bottom of the screen. If you send Cash App, please put your email address in the notes section, because this book is also an audiobook. So our free gift to you is that we will email you the audiobook, and you can hear some of the stories that came out of Confinement Chronicles and continues today. continues today. Our next anthology is titled I Thought I Was Dead, Stories of Survival that will inspire, transcend, and encourage your mind. If you have a story that you think was going to change your life in one way or another, we'd love for you to be a part of this anthology. Please send a text to what you're going to see scrolling at the bottom of the screen. We'll give you more information. This is going to be an audiobook anthology. And if a publisher picks it up and turns it to soft cover, that'll be great. But we're going to start out like we can hold out. $175 will get you in this audiobook. You will be an author and you'll get to go on book tour just like the rest of us are doing. Very special shout out to Cherise over in Houston. She's having her Curves on Purpose Unmasking Alopecia fashion show. I'll be in Houston. No, I ain't walking on the runway. I'm going to MC the model workshop. I love what she does. One day, all the models come in. They get to have lunch. They get to fellowship. They get to spend time together, get to hear from and talk to millionaires. One year I was there and she had a woman that owned 3 McDonald's franchises. And she was just talking to us. And in the middle of that, some little girl with alopecia turned around and said, okay, when you're going on a date, when do you tell them that you wearing a wig? That's the next question. Question that's coming up. So if you're in the Houston or even the Dallas area, because I'll be flying into Dallas to spend time with family, and then I'll be headed over to Houston. If you're in that area, Labor Day weekend, get with me, because I would love to get with you. I would really, really love to get with you. Okay, so Annie, I know you in the school system. I want to introduce each of you to our YEP program, Youth Entrepreneur Author Program. It is a virtual program that started during the pandemic. Remember earlier I told you about those Confinement Chronicle chapters, what happened to the babies? Well, during the pandemic, we published these 5 little faces. We did a virtual writing workshop with them. They came on screen, they wrote, their teachers edited, and we produced the audiobook that they all had in time to make some money for Christmas. But then our blessed publisher, Ladero Press, said this story is too good to just leave it to ears. We still need to encourage literacy through reading. And so now we have the Emerging from the Curve book. So if you are connected with any children, we've got our goal, our mission statement, how students register, funding. We've got it all laid out. We're just finishing up the summer program where we had kids writing, we had them on camera. We even had a college student that popped in. And so we truly would appreciate it if you would support literacy, because reading and writing is still very, very much important. Very, very much important. Summer Love, thank you for all that you do. I'm just doing what the Lord told me to do, but Oh, and Sandy says she just left Houston. Sandy, you're just gonna have to go back, but you're just gonna have to go back. Okay. Patty Davis says she has a question. Oh, okay. Very informative. Very good. She'll tune in again. Thank you, Sister Patty. I appreciate little accidents when you butt dial or hit the wrong button on the phone. I do appreciate that. I truly, truly do. Okay. I think that's about the last of our announcements. And I know, Dr. D, you have to get ready to log off. I'm going to bring you back in just for a minute so you can make your final comments. You can tell everybody how they can get in touch with you, dear. And Divinely Crowned, tell us about that right quick.
So Divinely Crowned was born from becoming Divinely Crowned. And over this time, I've always had a business that supports and encourages and empowers women. It was previously called Wise Women's Wear. But we have started in this month of August, because the month, or the number 8, stands for new beginnings. And so we have launched our website, Divinely Crowned. And there, like how you admired my earrings, I've got some great items and accessories for women. And then I also have copies of my book. I'm trying to get it right here. Right, and it's called Adjusting My Crown. This came to be as a journal. It was a self-discovery journal that I wrote and curated to really help women who are on the journey, to really set you in the mind of being able to declare and decree your day, and then being able to close your day in gratitude and thanksgiving.
Amen.
Just
Amen.
places that sometimes when you're on a hair loss journey, it's hard for you to kind of rest in. So I feel like if you declare your day and decree it, and then you close it out in praise and thanksgiving, it is just a blessing, and it can really help you. Like Dr. Renee was saying, with the psychosocial and emotional space, it's very powerful. And you for this space and part of this time with you all today. And I pray that you don't just see yourself as a bad baldy, but you really recognize yourself as the fearfully and wonderfully made, marvelous work of the Lord. That is one of my favorite scriptures. It is Psalms 139, verse 14, because it just says, and I'll leave you with this: I praise you, Lord, because I am fearfully and wonderfully made, and marvelous are your works. And my soul knows that indeed. So God bless you, keep you all. May his face to shine all upon you. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you soon.
Thanks, Dr. D. I appreciate you. And I'm going to be sure to put your information in our brand new project. Annie, I'm bringing you on screen. Dr. Renee, I'm bringing you on screen, who will be our first cover model in the Bold, Beautiful, and Bald online magazine. Bold, Beautiful, and Bald means business. This is an empowerment and educational project. Our mission is to educate, inspire, and coach baldies that are entrepreneurs or those who desire to launch a business. It's going to feature a little question and answer from me and cooking with Sir Malachi. Sir Malachi has a powerful testimony about his mother and what she went through with alopecia. So we're excited to announce that magazine is coming out. We want everybody in the magazine to be featured. And so we're not trying to cut down no trees to get printed magazines in the mail. It will come to you online, and it will be posted on the website. So you can send an email, just contact me, tell us about your business and how you can maybe help somebody else. Annie, I want you to be able to tell us more about the educational aspect. How can we get from spreading awareness to now acceptance? So I'll be talking to you about that later on. Okay, we're going to try to get wrapped up with the show right quick. Acceptance has been the big topic. In fact, this year is the final year for the Bold, Beautiful, and Bald Beauty Bazaar for Alopecia Awareness. Next year, our name changes to Bold, Beautiful, and Bald Beauty Bazaar for Alopecia Acceptance. And so what do we mean by acceptance? So many people contacted me when the FDA approved a new drug and said, oh, there's a new drug. You can take it and grow your hair back. Can't you just accept me? Why I got to do that? Why? Dr. Renee, you over there grinning. You write prescriptions. I got adamant. I'm like, just because now you know what it is. Because there was an incident where one black man smacked another one on TV. Now the world know about it. Now they trying to fix our problem. Okay? So I got my earrings on. How come you just can't accept me? And what if I decide to take my earrings off? Does that mean I'm still looking crazy? Because I'm gonna smack you. I would took my earrings off. That's fighting words. Dr. Renee, can you talk about that from an acceptance point of view, dear?
So many layers to that. So many layers to that. I would say, especially in the social media era, I would say depending on the time that you got diagnosed, well, the age at which you got diagnosed, and the support that you may have with your medical team and with your family and your friends, that makes a huge difference. Yeah. I think it is also important for us just to share our journey with them, not our highlight reel. of what it took to get to our level of acceptance and along our journey, because so people want for things to be perfect. My journey was not perfect. I could imagine you guys' journey was not perfect at all, but we are all smiling now, right? I know that I'm a masterpiece. I know that I'm created in his image. I know that now, but it was hard for me to receive that information and accept that information when that seed was planted in me a long time ago, because I didn't see beauty in the mirror. So I didn't accept myself. There was a lot of self-hate, I hated myself. I hated God at one time in my life. Yeah. So everybody acceptance journey is not easy. Mine was not. So I think for acceptance, I would say to people, and I can't quite get this camera angled the right way. You're good. Again, I'm comfortable on the couch, but acceptance for me, it took my grandmother, her really loving me for who I am and really speaking into my heart and allowing those seeds to really come to fruition. And it also took my son. I had my son, and he saw me for the first time without my wig. And he was one person that really pushed me to live out my authentic self and who I am. So I'm going to say that it takes your family to support you and community to learn to love and accept yourself, because it starts at home, right? And then I started to learn and trust other people. So I did do counseling. I did speak with, also my church family. I did have coaches. And I had community. So it took all of that for me to start personally loving and accepting myself.
Right.
So acceptance for me was me coming out of my wigs and just being bald and bold. Acceptance for somebody else might mean I can just play around with my wigs and still be cute. So acceptance means also defining it for yourself and not defining it by other people, having a definition by other people, and just loving yourself for who you are. And as far as the comment about the FDA approved medication, like right now, so we still don't necessarily know the specific pathophysiology of alopecia. So that medicine is a biologic that is able to treat certain things with it. Yes, my hair is going to grow back, but there's also a lot of side effects to it. So I won't condone somebody if you choose to go that route. Yeah. To have it, but just also know that you have to continue to get the treatments, and there's also a lot of side effects that's connected to it. But if that is your form of acceptance, right, you but have a good team with you, but also know the conditions that come along with it. But there's also a level of I've accepted myself as I am, and so now if I start going back to doing treatment, so now I'm going into a different identity of who I am. So now, am I defining myself by growing hair again, or am I defining my identity like this? Because then that's also another level of acceptance of yourself when the medication stops working. So I always kind of define alopecia as a roller coaster of ups and downs. So you want to be able to have that level ground. If you do have your highs and your lows, what is your level of what you're coming back to? So that would be your level of acceptance. If I have hair, if I don't have hair, I still love me as me. But everybody's journey is going to be different. So.
All right, Dr. Renee, I know your journey is celebrating your birthday. I'm not going to keep you for much longer. I'm going to let you go. We're going to happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Dr. Renee, with your little baby self. I hope to stay in touch with you. The Bold, Beautiful, and Bald Beauty Bazaar and Weekend Retreat has been invited to a couple of different cities next year. So we're planning tour stops. We know we're going to Atlanta, Detroit, Dayton, Ohio. I'd love to come see you in Virginia. So please let me know. Please let me know how your calendar looks so we can collaborate.
Yes, ma'am. It was nice. Thank you for today. It was nice seeing you, ladies.
Go enjoy your birthday and give your family my love. Oh, bye. My goodness.
I was going to get her information, but it's okay. I'll get it from her.
Did you see her smile? Did you see her smile?
She was awesome.
Yeah. All right. So this what I got to, just me and you, we just going to talk because we women of experience, you know. Some of us have experienced the change of life, and some of us have experienced some things. Okay. So we got alopecia. We ain't got nothing up here, nothing up here. And then all of a sudden we got all this down here, and some of this, some of this right here. I look like Santa Claus when I'm shaving. I got shave cream here. I got down here. I got it right here and down here. Oh, Lord. So, is it okay to get mad at God? God, you said I had alopecia, but now I got.
You know what? All things work together for the good. That's what I keep in my head. All things work together for the good, whether it's up here or up here. All things work together for the good. Because he's gonna take it all, make it all good. That's it. Make it all good. I wanted to get Dr. Thompson's information. I don't know. I think I missed it, but I wanted to get her information. To be 48 again. So I'll be 58 next month. So, matter of fact, the day of the bazaar is my birthday, September 6th.
I'm trying to get you here.
I am looking at these. Trust me, I have been on booking.com. I am trying to get there. I really want to be there, just to be in the space and to talk with you and fellowship with some other alopecia sisters and brothers. But I am trying to get there. Yes.
Well, go on the website. We have Dr. Stephanie Fowler, who is assisting with travel arrangements. And there you go. Dr. Stephanie, I'm sending them to you because, and I still encourage people. I know it may be challenging to have to change planes, but Delta and American Airlines come straight into Daytona, and the airport is directly across the street, around the corner, a block from the hotel. So the hotel offers free transportation from the airport to the hotel. So I know it may be cheaper, a direct flight to come into Jacksonville or Orlando, but by the time you rent a $3,000 rental car or something, so let's just come on in and make it easy. Make it easy. Yeah, Summer Love says she was mad at God at first, but now she's understanding her purpose. And I just want to share that was our reason for this broadcast today. Y'all about to get tired of us talking about Alopecia Awareness Month because that's what we do. We want to encourage somebody else. We want other folks to know. Go ahead, honey.
But Angie, you made a very good point. We've been walking around with this alopecia, and but it was like it got pushed to the forefront with the Red Table Talk episode of that individual, and then the slap. And there are people. I'm on a lot of different alopecia support groups, and there were mixed feelings about it. And when I shared what my feeling was about it, people were really surprised because they thought I felt this way and I didn't. Mm-hmm. Because I try to take things as a positive and not a negative.
Yes.
And so I when I found out I had alopecia. And once I guess I coped it, and that's why I say everyone's journey is different. I had that self-esteem that I talked about, but then it was like, I don't feel like I'm sick.
Right.
And people, and like, Dr. Renee said, everyone is at their journey in different stages, but I never thought I was sick. Mm-hmm. To me, honestly, having alopecia was a blessing. It was an absolute blessing because, it's allowed me to encourage so many people like my friend Kimberly says, when you get out your own way, God is able to use you.
Yeah.
We get out of our own way because people will draw encouragement and empowerment from seeing you. When I say you, I'm talking about not Angie and I, but I'm talking about the yous that are out there that are going through this alopecia journey. And you're walking in it. People are drawing encouragement from seeing you because people always say, I couldn't do that. And I couldn't do that. Yeah. I could not do that. But you don't know what you can do until you're confronted with it. And we can't hide. Mm-hmm. So you have to learn to cope with it and, learn in your own journey. And like I said, everyone's journey is different. I have friends that have alopecia and their spouses don't know.
Oh goodness!
Their spouses don't know. They go in the bathroom. They put someone in. Their spouses don't know.
Yeah. I have
a friend that's in Missouri. Her clients don't know. She does physical. She does things like some type of therapist, but with physical exercise. Her clients don't know. Her clients don't know. And we're on this, and when they come on the Zoom, we're all ball up there. But her clients do not know. And we're talking about some years now. So everyone's journey is different. But for me, I never considered myself sick. It was something that happened. I have a lot of things in my past that's happened that's worse than me losing my hair.
Yeah.
And praise God, I'm still here. So, you know, so just own it.
All right, everybody. We want to invite you to join us Wednesdays at 7 p.m. right here on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, the Jericho Broadcast Network for We Getting Over This Hump Together. Annie, I got to get you scheduled on a Wednesday. We're going to continue talking about how we're able to get over this type of issue together. It continues to amaze me why people want to ask me why I have on a hat. Same thing happened to Tiffany Tyson Green. She was a member of an organization, and she showed up for the event one day and she had on a hat. And they're like, well, why? I mean, I was at this church event right here. Everybody, well, you're the only one wearing a hat. Why? There are different reasons why we wear hats. One, my hat was looking good with my outfit that day. So I love me some hats, and I should be able to put it on again without having to answer no questions except me for who and what I am. If I want to put on a hat, accept it. Okay, I ain't trying to hide nothing. I like the hat. But Tiffany Tyson Green talked about how they fussed at her, and she said, it is January. It is the King holiday. You got me on this float outside, and it's cold. I'm not going to let my head. So we want to continue with this conversation about acceptance. Okay? I should not have to explain to you why I have decided to take off my earrings or whatsoever. I should not have to explain to you why I did not feel like gluing on no eyelashes. You ain't asking me why I ain't got on no lipstick. So why?
It's interesting that people they think that it's connected to alopecia. I wear a hat because my head is cold, or the sun beams down on my head, and people that with alopecia probably will relate to this. All your heat in your body rises to the top of your head.
Yes,
so you get sweaty, but people think that, you're hiding it, because it's not that I'm hiding. It's just that I'm protecting it. Just like if I wore a coat and it's raining outside or whatever, it's not attributed to my alopecia. I'm just living.
I know.
Living.
I know. Somebody actually criticized me, said, why did you wear a hat for your new book cover? Why? We want to see. Okay, well, you can see. Just keep watching the show on Wednesday night, 7 p.m. You can see me then. And then we got An Abundance of Awareness, another show that we do on Thursday nights. You can see. That's fine. Or like I said before, come to Daytona Beach in September, and you'll get to see as much loveliness as you would like to. And Sandy Green says, the sun burns her scalp. Mm-hmm. So Sandy, I want to remind you, we had a dermatologist that joined us on a conversation last year that said skin cancer is running rampant among alopecians because we love our little heads, but we're not protecting them with, sunscreen. We need it. So thank you for reminding me about that. And yes, you wear a hat at work because the school is freezing. Okay. I think Annie might know something about that. Annie, thank you for being with me today. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your new book that's coming up. I don't think we can share these stories too much. Thank you.
The pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much, Angie.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Man, I really do appreciate each and every one of you hanging out with me. Thank you for your comments. Thank you, Donna. I love you so. I want all of us authors to be sure that we're in Daytona Beach, Florida in February for the book Apocalypse. Get ready for that. Just search for Fresh Book Festival on Facebook. You'll see the information, or you can send a email to freshbookfestivals gmail.com, or, just get with me and I'll connect you with her. Thank you so much. I am grateful. I want to close up, and I know I'm running over time a little bit. I want to close the show by just reminding people that hair loss is a physical and emotional time in someone's life. So let's not just dismiss it. The death and the grief and the loss is all very real. You start to question yourself. You start to wonder. Like I said earlier, a young woman asked me, well, when do you tell him you got a wig on, right before y'all get in the bed, or first date, or getting over with? It is something very personal for people. So we don't want you to stare. We want you to ask. Thank you always for that. But more than anything, we want you to know that sometimes it can be a very painful thing for people. And we don't need to add to that pain by being dismissive. You ever heard somebody say to you, oh, that person been dead for 20 years. You ain't got over it yet? You can't rush grief. And hair loss is a grieving time. So, all right, we're going to get out of here. We want you to log on to Mary Hope's broadcast. It's all about Jesus and me, the teaching ministry. It's starting right about now. And get at us, and we'll be back with more throughout the month. If it is the Lord's will, we'll be back throughout the month. Have a good one, everybody.
You are cordially invited. It's all about Jesus and me. You are cordially invited. It's all about Jesus and me, the teaching ministry. Join us this Sunday at 3:30 p.m. Our theme is cheerfulness versus bitterness. You choose. A cheerful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones. Proverbs chapter 17, verse 22. It's all about Jesus and me, the teaching ministry. Join us at 1855 Prunier Road in St. Augustine, Florida. You are cordially invited.
Hi, this is author Avalon Celette Brown. I am the visionary of this project. Recently, I've been speaking to different nurses who have been expressing and voicing their challenges and their frustration while working in the field. So I decided to reach out to different nurses from different specialties and bring them together to create a book so that they can write about their experiences, their challenges, their frustrations that they experienced in nursing and how they overcame them and why those challenges did not make them quit. This is going to be a very important book for the next generation of nurses because they can see that they are not alone out there. The nurses before you have gone through these same type of challenges, these same frustration, but they never allowed it to make them quit because nursing is their passion. And this is what we want you to know. Keep your passion. Never let them make you quit.
Audiobook produced and promoted by Angie B. Productions.
I love my daddy. He gives me hugs and kisses when he wakes me up. He helps me make mommy's tea in the morning. He always reads a book to me before bedtime.
I Love My Daddy is a heartwarming children's book about the special bond between a little girl and her father. It follows a day in the life of a little girl and her daddy. Produced for audiobook by NGB Productions.
Narrated by me, Ramona Young.
And narrated by me, the Queen Bee, Angie B. Save the date, September 14th through 17th, 2023, for the 7th annual Bold, Beautiful, and Bald Weekend Retreat for Alopecia Awareness. Our travel partner this year is Stephanie Fowler. Call her for your arrangements at 470-331-1788. The 7th annual Bold, Beautiful, and Bald Weekend Retreat for Alopecia Awareness. Our theme this year is completion, keeping our faith over the struggle. Log on to boldbeautifulandbald.com for more information. Bold, beautiful, and bald.